Welcome to the Grants Online webinar for recipient acceptance of a new award. This is a part of our series of webinars for our new federal program officers. This is one of the webinars in which we're actually switching hats, and we're actually going to log in as a recipient to allow our federal program officers and our recipients to see this process demoed in the system. It's important for the federal program officers to see the process because you don't have these screens and you wouldn't be doing them yourselves. However, your recipients may call you about these processes that we're going to go through. So we're going to go ahead and do a demonstration so you, as a new federal program officer or federal program officer, whether new or not, you can see these steps that the recipient goes through in order to accept the grant award that has been sent to them. Okay, so this time I'm going to log in as a recipient. And the recipients get the same advisory screen that our federal folks have. One thing you may notice, though, as a federal person, that there are some tabs that the recipients don't have at the top of the screen. There is no RFA tab and there is no application tab. The recipients are only in Grants Online during the post-award process. They begin their experience in Grants Online when they accept their new award. Now, prior to accepting the new award in the system, once the grants officer has signed off on the award and has completed all of the subsequent approvals and has gotten set up in the ASAP system, Grants Online sends an email to the recipient to let them know that there is a task waiting for them. A sample of that email can actually be found on the Grants Online training site underneath the grant recipient training resources and down on section 8 where they have sample of the Grants Online notifications. Here's the first one, new award notification. The samples are a bit old. We're going to update them, but they still pretty much show the language that we send out to the recipient. We give them the award number. We give them information as to how to log into Grants Online. We give them information about the award itself. We emphasize that they need to make sure that they indicate in the system who the principal investigator is, and we give them all the information that is needed for the Grants Online help desk. Now, one of the main pieces of information that is important for them is that when they contact the Grants Online help desk, they have to send to the help desk. The help desk is going to request that they send this email to the help desk in order to verify that they are who they say they are in terms of being the authorized representative for this award. Because only the authorized representative that we place on the award will get this email. Let's go back and look at the process map. Click on this one, and it's the last one in this series here, right here. Oops, wrong one, right here. Okay, so this starts a little bit before they get it, but basically, once the grants officer assigns the award, it goes through a two-step process in our accounting system to get those funds obligated for the recipient. After the funds are obligated, there's still another internal process to get the award set up in the ASAP system and also to send the award to the Office of Legislative Affairs. After all of that is done, and it's in a white box because there are dependencies as to whether that part is done or not, then the grant award goes to the inbox of the authorized representative that has been indicated on the award. So this is where we are right now. We're at this step in the process. Let's go back to Grants Online, and let's look at their inbox tab. Okay, so this particular recipient at the top has a task that says Accept/Decline Award. Now, there are some other tasks in this recipient's inbox that have come in for prior actions, but the one we are concerned about right now is the Accept/Decline Award. Now, since we want to make sure that this is the one that came in today, let's go ahead to the Account Management tab, click on My Preferences, and let's modify our inbox so that we can see the task received date. So we can verify this is the one that came in today, or the most recent one at least. And let's push the award number further to the left of the inbox. Okay? We're going to take the completed date off because we won't see that in the open inbox. And let's put in some federal funding, the approved federal funding for this award. Okay? And let's move this over here. Okay, so we've made some changes to our inbox, just in case you guys didn't know how to do that. We've just changed the way the task line looks in our inbox. So we can now go back to task, and now we have the date received. Okay, so we can see this one came in today on December the 10th, which is when we are recording this webinar. Now, let's go ahead and click on View, and we get to our task with various options to select. There is one more thing that I want to point out on our trading resources. That's a very important document. That's our Grants Online Recipient User Manual right here. And this has all of the steps that I'm going through, very detailed step by step, in order to do all of the various activities and actions that a recipient needs to take in Grants Online. Back to Grants Online itself, we have a task that's sitting in our inbox. We have now contacted the help desk. We have sent them our email. The help desk has set us up with a user account, and now we are able to log in to accept our award. So let's look at our drop-down options. Well, first thing we notice is there is no Accept Award option, and that is on purpose because we want to make sure that our recipients actually take a look at the award itself before accepting it. So the very first action that they should take would be View Award Details and submit. Okay. We now come to our cover page for our grant awards document. This is called a CD450. It's based on a paper form that we used to use when we were dealing with paper. CD means Commerce Department, so that's a Commerce Department form. And so this particular form has the number 450, CD450. Notice it says the document is locked. That is because the recipient at this point cannot make any changes to the award. All the recipient can do is click on the various links to get additional information. So we have the Department of Commerce standard terms and conditions. We have bureau-specific award conditions. Those are, in this case, would be for NOAA. And then there, in most cases, would be also specific award conditions. So this particular one For the training purposes, we didn't set it up with specific award conditions, but on every new award, there actually would be an additional document for specific award conditions for the recipient to review. They would also have a line item budget, and they have links here. And this is just the budget, same budget that they sent into the federal agency. We also attached to this document. These are links to the uniform guidance, which is the federal guidance for that managed for grant award management, Department of Commerce pre-award notification, and a check that says this is a multi-year award. So once they click on all of these links and review them, make sure that they understand them, down at the bottom, they will see the signature of the grants officer who signed the award, an electronic signature in Grants Online. And then, whoops, they have no option to do anything at this point, but they can run a report. They can run a paper or a PDF file of this. They have to click Cancel in order to now have the drop-down option to accept the award. Notice those top two options were not available until they first looked at that page in Grants Online. Now they have some additional options. We're going to take this one in a few minutes, but let me just review some of the others. There's an option to decline the award. This should be the last resort option that they would take. And they need to make sure that there's no that they really do want to decline the award, because at this point, if they do that, they will not have access to the award. Their funds will be de-obligated from ASAP and from CBS, and that will be the end of the line for the award document. If our recipients have some issues with the award or some questions, there is an option here to return it back to the federal agency for revision. Now, there is definitely a caveat to that option right there, because at this point, this award has gone into many different systems, including our financial system. It's gone into the Department of Treasury's ASAP system, and it's gone into usaspending.gov. and a couple of other systems. So at this point, all of the funding and the dates have already been identified in these other systems. We cannot change the funding and dates on the award at this point. If there are any issues with funding or dates, the recipient should accept the award. And then, as the federal agency, we can work up an amendment to make modifications to funding or to dates. However, if there's other issues, some typos in a special award condition or something like that, then we can make those changes, because special award conditions don't go into any other system except for this one. They stay here in Grants Online. Okay? Another option that I do want to make sure that I discussed a little bit is that once the recipient authorized representative gets this task, it can be reassigned to another person with that role of recipient authorized representative within their organization. Sometimes that role is known as AOR, Authorized Organization Representative. So it's basically the same person. Sometimes when a recipient organization submits their application to grants.gov, the person whose name is on that application as the authorized representative is not the same person who should be accepting the award once it is processed and sent to them. So we do allow for this task to be reassigned to another person in their organization to actually accept it if that is appropriate for the organization. So let's go back to our happy path, and we're going to click Accept Award and Submit. At this point, there's still one more step that the authorized representative needs to take, and that is to identify the recipient administrator. There's always, if this organization has had awards with your agency before, they should already have a recipient administrator set up, and that person's name will come up on the screen. If not, the authorized representative has the ability to add someone in. The recipient administrator, and I'm just going to show if they already have other people set up. I'm going to select this person, our training person, to put them in as the authorized, as the recipient administrator. This is the person who will then be given the ability to add anybody else into the system for their organization. They can also modify accounts that are already there, and they can also reset passwords and unlock accounts for their own organization users as needed. Once that recipient administrator is in this blue box, they can click Save. If there are multiple recipient administrators set up for the organization, then only one needs to show up in the blue box. As long as the recipient authorized representative click Save, they can all do that same, those same duties. So notice the status of the award file has been changed to Accepted. At this point, let's go back to here and look at our process map. Okay, so the authorized representative has now accepted the award, and a task has gone to the recipient administrator. This task is for that person to make sure that a principal investigator has been set up on this particular award. That is done on an award-by-award basis. I'm going to go back to my task because I set myself up as the recipient administrator. And now I have this task for this award, Manage Award Users. Now notice there's other tasks for other awards, Manage Award Users, because they will get one for each award that comes into their organization. Once we click on View, on the drop-down, they should click on the bottom option to view the Manage Award screen. And as you see, we've got a lot of authorized representatives set up, and this is set up for the purposes of training. But what we don't have on this award is a principal investigator. So this is what needs to be done when this task comes in. We're going to click on this link to add a principal investigator, and they can do their search. Or they actually don't have to put anything in this box, and we can just click Search. And all of the users for this recipient organization will show up in the search. So you can select any one of them to be now the principal investigator. You can select more than one if needed, add another one, and you can indicate if you have more than one, if which one is the lead. So you will click Change Lead, and if you need to do that, you'll be able to click on the checkbox and say this person. Select that and say that person is the lead principal investigator. It does not give them any additional functionality in Grants Online. It only is a visual indicator of who the actual lead principal investigator is if you have more than one. Okay, at this point they've completed their task. They can add more users from their organization to manage their financial reports, that's what this business financial representative does. They can add more people to be recipient administrators, and they can add other people to just have access to the system in order to just look at the grant awards that have been assigned to them. We're going to do the bottom and click Done. And now we're going to tell the system that this task is complete, and it is no longer in our inbox. The next one here is one that had come in earlier. So that is the end of recipient award acceptance, and we thank you for joining us. We hope that it has been informative.